Also, based on their backstabbing, condescending allegations, they create a sphere of reversed racism, promoting false superiority. They use symbology to exacerbate these feelings of superiority and racism. They profess that it's love and that it's progressive towards unity, and it's not. It's progressed towards exclusion. It's progressed towards non-constitutional practices. It's progressed towards a self-proclaimed group of friends that refer to themselves as elitists. They call it hybrid. It's not hybrid. It's like mobbing. It's like a mob. It's like a cult. It's like a small group of people that have promoted their careers, promoted their influences, advanced the agendas and preferences of other people with ulterior motives, being that the absent absconding father wants to win it all. And so they use these deplorizing, abusive tactics to give themselves leverage in all of this. And it belies the spirit of the law, it belies the truth, and it creates an unsafe environment for myself, just as the acts of Michael Murphy created an unsafe environment for the 85 people who died and the remaining people who lost their properties. Since this little journey, in Florida, people were throwing dead ducks where I camped out, just smashed them. In Pittsburgh, they were cutting the heads off squirrels and leaving them in the alley where I was sitting. Here, I called the locals woodchucks. So walking down the road, I found the severed head of a woodchuck and no body. In, I believe it was Berkeley, I went down into to get on the subway car, and some humbum guy came up and like threatened to push me because I wasn't conforming to their submission program. Also in San Francisco, California, dude came up to me with a fucking torch and a lighter, and was like threatening to burn me. A guy threatened me with a lead pipe. In Berkeley, a black dude came up and just fucking knocked me down on the sidewalk, and luckily nothing happened to my skull. I had a Chinese guy come up and just fucking punch me and knock me down. All types of shit, because of their rumors. In Florida, when I was like locked up for spilling a girl's coffee in a store, they really did a number on that one. It was hell in jail because they, selectively put certain people in my cell with me to harass me and accuse me, like subliminally and stuff like that. And this guy, he does these kind of mobster tactics, and he never has to take accountability for himself, simply because of his status quo and his allegations. But they have yet to fucking issue a warrant from New York. They have yet to fucking supply any substantial fucking evidence supporting the claim other than someone's belief and this person who got into this interior property fucking conflict with me in Monterey, who has no background as a doctor, as a lawyer, as anything representative of the things that she claims to be an authoritative in knowledge of. She has a degree in statistics. So ultimately what the goal here is is by persistently harassing me with the public utility is to strengthen their claims with generic source, malware essentially, quantitative generic, so that they can try to produce this manifestation in historical bullshit. You know, and a lot of crazy stuff has happened since all of this. And it's just kind of like one foot in front of the other, because now they've got such a bandwagon going. Most people are just following the trend, you know, and they've got this pink-purple contrast. They make all these bifurcated contrasts based on this person's false premise that Budweiser means one thing and Bud Light the other. Budweiser is superior king of beers, and Bud Light supposedly is, you know, their reason for whatever. And it's like, first of all, I drank when I was a teenager, like a lot of fucking teenagers, and I didn't drink Bud Light. Okay, so they just make up these things because they have correlating morals in different places, and then they just persistently push and sear these concepts into people's minds. And then he picks, you know, and so they pick these things to basically, so they can be some kind of archetype, you know. And I know that Michael Murphy isn't the fucking Saint Michael of biblical fucking text, okay? But essentially they're trying to promote these things with all these different bifurcations where one is dog shit and the other is superiority, and they do it by means of slippery slope, where if this, then whatever. And there ought to be representation for people who don't have the economic means to have proper fucking representation, so that these things can't continue to fucking happen. They just make whatever thing, you know, whatever thing comes to mind. And I don't even, in this Tia Sukin chick, who essentially began these sabotagings in Monterey, like, I've never had a conversation with her. Was she a fucking mind reader?